George Orwell had this concept that he labeled the gramophone mind. And what the gramophone mind is it describes a person who repeats pre-programmed ideas and slogans without thinking, as if these ideas are their own. Now we can fall into the trap of thinking, oh, only people who listen to RTE or BBC or mainstream media are like that. But I've seen a lot of people on, let's say, the conservative side or right-wing side who tend to, let's say, overdose on YouTube and take everything they see on YouTube at face value. And in that sense, fall into the exact same trap, but at the same time will label others as being pre-programmed. Now, I'm sure you've met people who just talk over you in conversation. You know, I come across them now and again. You can't get a word in edgeways and you know they're not really listening, just waiting to jump in at the first opportunity. So I'm going to talk about in this audio vlog an experience I had recently with someone like that. I spoke to a woman recently, but all I could hear was a script she had downloaded from YouTube. I didn't really know who I was talking to. She was regurgitating someone else's thoughts. She would drone on endlessly until her scripted soliloquizing was fully expressed. Whenever I spoke, she would proceed to speak over me with yet another version of the script. There was no thought, no cognitive engagement, no real listening. There was simply a play button and a tape that would keep rolling until the cassette reached the end, ejected itself and turned over to play side B. Sometimes during this cassette change phase, I'd have a chance to say something, but whatever I had to say often conflicted with the script. And so the tape would have to hurriedly race into fast forward. She couldn't take on board any of my points because she was incapable of listening. Her hand was continually hovering over the play button as she queued up the tape. So then, if I at all paused, the cassette would once again start spinning, and I'd be drowned out before I had the opportunity to finish my point. The subject matter at hand was the Burkes, who, by the way, also like to drown people out. She was the one who had brought it up in the first place, not me. She was singing their virtues. I was highlighting their foolishness. Basic statements of fact were incapable of penetrating the impenetrable. She repeatedly told me that Enoch Burke had to keep going to the school, or else he would lose his pay. I tried to explain to her that the High Court had him on full pay until the matter had fully played out. But this foundational statement of fact had no clearance to land. I was told that if he didn't show up, there was some hidden clause in the legal text somewhere that would deny him his pay. Some random YouTuber had proved this, she told me. I'd heard enough. This is the problem with scripts. There's no overdub button which would allow the tape to be wiped clean with reason and logic. It is playback only and as loud as possible. When your starting position is fundamentally flawed, there's a good chance that everything else after that will be wrong too. It's like taking a marker to a map, crossing out Galway and writing in Dublin instead, then driving there and claiming you're in the capital city. No. You ended up in the wrong place because you took some random YouTuber, or the Burkes, at face value. You ended up with a fiction based on a true story. It might be entertaining, but it's nothing more than that. It's a YouTube Hollywood version of reality that doesn't stand up to examination, even if you believe it's true. YouTube can be entertaining, I'll admit that. But for the most part, these creators need clicks to generate their revenue if they can garner enough views. They know their audience and what enrages them, and so they play into that with their video thumbnails and titles. Whether the content is accurate or not isn't relevant. All that matters is the script, feeding your rage and getting you as the viewer to come back for the follow-up episode. The Burkes are masters at this, packaging the story, but then omitting certain elements that may upset the pre-packaged narrative. Companies package their products very carefully. It's not a random, oh, that looks okay, or, sure, that'll do mentality. No. Every single aspect of the package is carefully thought out, right down to the smallest possible detail, things that would not even occur to you or me. I know this because a good friend of mine worked in this area for a well-known cosmetic brand. He told me all about it. The detail that went into what you may have thought was a random box or perfume bottle was mind-boggling. I couldn't believe it myself. And what's the purpose of all that, you may ask? Well, the purpose is to position and sell the product in a certain way so that you'll buy it. Remember that the next time you're on YouTube drinking down that scripted narrative like there's no tomorrow. It could just be a well-packaged web of lies. And well-packaged lies are always looking for fertile soil where they can land.